Hi, my name is Gracie Patton, and today I am going to be looking through and reviewing all of my historical sewing patterns. I have a relatively big project that's in the works, and I don't think I'm going to have much sewing content for the next couple weeks until that's done, so instead I wanted to make a video about all of my historical sewing patterns because I know that's something that I would like to watch, so I figured somebody else might want to watch it too. And most of these range from roughly 1500-ish to 1920. Anything post 1920 will be in a future video about my vintage and modern sewing patterns. And as you can see, there are a lot, so let's get into them. Let's get started with this big pile first. The first one is 1770s riding habit pattern. I got this when I took a class, so I don't think I bought this. And I haven't made it yet, but I would like to. I think it's really pretty looking, but I haven't made it yet. Next is a World War I era blouse by Wearing History, and this is a really popular pattern. And I actually have made this, but I didn't put buttons on the blouse, and so it's still not wearable. It's been that way for a year. So that's a me problem, not a pattern problem. Our next pattern is this Pictorial review pattern, which is this I think is like a tracing of an original 1916 pattern, and it's just a nice skirt. I would really like to make this and make a video about it because I feel like this is a skirt that doubles as a historical skirt and a modern skirt, and I think that might be an interesting video. Next is a PDF pattern. I keep my PDF patterns in folders after I've printed them out, so they're not very aesthetic looking, but this contains a modern pattern that needed a place to live, and then the Victorian smoking jacket pattern, which it's from Black Snail Patterns, and I used it to make a smoking jacket for Ollie for Christmas. Next, we have a couple of McCall's costume patterns. So these aren't like as historical as some of the indie patterns, but they're still pretty good. This one is more of costumey. It's one of Angela Clayton's patterns. I think it's just really cute. I have not made it. And then this is a little bit more historically inspired 1890s walking suit, which I think is really cute. I have not made it. These commercial patterns, I usually get them when they're like 99 cents, and so I have a lot of them that I have never used. Let's see. I'll just grab all of these and have a big stack. We have this 1860s-ish pattern for a jacket, which I tried to make once, but I didn't know what I was doing. I tried to make it when I was like 14, and I don't think it went very well. So I don't really have much to say about that. And these three kind of go together. This is a reprint of a 1912 suit pattern. This is like a 1910s inspired suit pattern. And this is a 1910s inspired hat pattern. And I feel like these would actually be pretty good bases if I wanted to make a tailored 1910s suit, though I bet I would have to do some serious alterations. I feel like there might be one more of those. Actually, no. Okay, on to the next ones. Now we have three of the American Duchess Simplicity patterns. There's the sacque back gown, the 1760s stays, and the Outlander stays. I've not made either of these, but they both look pretty good. I know the sacque back pattern is pretty good, and I would like to make the stays because they look nice. These ones, I actually made these stays and the bum roll and the shift, I think. And the bum roll is a really nice pattern, but the stays are like way too short in the waist for anyone who wears them, and so they just don't work super well. So this was my first pair of stays, and they didn't fit very well. But I would like to potentially revisit this pattern as like a beginner's guide to making stays, because I think this is a really accessible pattern, and it could be useful for people who are looking to make a pair of stays but don't know where to start. And our last two commercial patterns are this Butterick 1880s maybe jacket pattern. I've never used this. I don't know that I ever will. I'll probably sell this pattern. And then a Butterick Corsets pattern. And I think these stays actually look pretty decent, as do these. I don't know much about the corsets, but I feel like you could probably get a good pair of stays from this pattern, so that might be interesting to try. Let's get some more patterns out of the way. This is probably my all-time favorite historical sewing pattern because this is the pattern that really taught me how to make 18th century dresses. I find the instructions extremely helpful, and this is one of those patterns where it just fit me really almost perfectly right out of the gate. So that was really nice. But I think Larkin & Smith at the Sign of the Golden Scissors has closed now. They are no longer selling patterns. So if you can get your hands on this pattern or potentially one of their other patterns, I would recommend it because their patterns are excellent and they are out of business now, which is a shame. Next, we have a truly Victorian pattern for 1870s maybe, combination underwear. And I actually made these in a class, and I think it's a cool pattern, but I don't like the underwear that I ended up making because I don't really like the lace that I used. It was like the free lace that was given to me with the class, and it's not what I would have chosen for myself. But I think it's a good pattern. Truly Victorian patterns are notoriously useful, especially for beginners, because they're easily adjustable, so that's good. Next we have, this is a riding habit shirt that's meant to go under the riding habit that was at the very start of this video. So this is like an mid 18th century-ish riding habit shirt. So this is what women would wear under their riding habits to look kind of sporty. We also have this pattern for beribboned caps by the brand Country Wives. It's kind of a funny name. And I've made one or two of these caps and I had pretty good luck with them. I think I made the Charlotte and I made like a 1790s cap that I am quite fond of. The one thing that I noticed is the caul of the cap is fairly small. So if you get this pattern, I would suggest expanding the size of the caul. And last here is this 1860s gored corset from Red Threaded. And I have been wanting to do mid-19th century for a while, and I've heard amazing things about this pattern, and I got it for Christmas like 2 or 3 years ago, so I should probably make it up. Now we have the patterns from my file folder here. And also in this file folder are some patterns in envelopes. These are mostly patterns that I've drafted or that I've traced from other patterns, and they're fairly small, so I keep them in little envelopes, but I'm not going to be reviewing these because these are mostly like patterns that I keep for me, not actually like commercial patterns or anything like that, and so I feel like it'd be kind of weird to talk about them. First in here is a folkwear pattern for a walking skirt. And of all things, I won this in an Instagram contest. I haven't made it up yet, but I feel like I should because I feel kind of bad having not made it after winning it. But I think it looks like a nice pattern. I'm excited to make it. Next is this Laughing Moon Mercantile 1840s to 1852 bodice pattern. And I got this because I wanted to make like a modern Jane Eyre dress, which I feel like would be really cute in this pattern, but I also would like to make this as a historical gown because I think it looks quite nice. Next in here is this little book from Burnley and Trowbridge, which is the Workman's Guide to Tailoring Stitches and Techniques. This is not a pattern, but it's pretty useful. Next is a Canucks Corner cap pattern, and I have made several of these caps and I've been quite pleased with all of them. I think I've made this one and like altered versions of other caps in this package, and I think it's a pretty good pattern. Now we have the Smoke and Fire Revolutionary War Vest, also known as a waistcoat, sleeved and unsleeved versions. And I've not made this, but Oliver has. He has been working on his first waistcoat using this pattern, and it's going pretty well, so definitely recommend this pattern. Next is my PDF pattern for the Amalia jacket by Scroop Patterns. I was a pattern tester for this, and I really like it. Yeah, I think if you're looking for an 1780s jacket pattern, this is a very good option. It's also, you can print it off yourself, so I feel like PDF patterns are usually less expensive than printed patterns, which is really nice. This is my Rila corset, also by Scroop Patterns, and I made this up. I really like it. I think Scroop patterns are just really good patterns. Then we have the 1910s combinations and corset cover patterns. These are both from Wearing History, and I've made both of these. The corset cover, this is the combinations. And I have nothing but good things to say about this pattern. I really like the combinations that I made. I really like the corset cover that I made, and I thought the pattern was really clear. And I think this is actually my last one. Wow. This is my Augusta Stays pattern. It is, the Augusta Stays are actually, they're a really popular stays pattern, also by Scroop Patterns from the 1780s. And this is my red stays. And so I wear my Augusta Stays all the time. I really like them. And I know that a lot of other people have had really good luck with that stays pattern. And yeah. I think that is all of my historical patterns, surprisingly. So thank you to you for watching. Thanks for Ollie for his help in filming and editing this video. And let me know in the comments what your favorite historical sewing patterns are and what your favorite historical time periods are, because there are definitely some time periods where I feel like it's harder to find commercial patterns. And so I'd love to hear if you have like an unusual favorite time period where you find your patterns for that, or if you draft them yourself. Hope you have a nice rest of your day. Bye.